Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to do, it's called double angle identities. So it's like playing the game, but with specific formulas. So, well, listen. Here, I'll let you do this. We can cross out the tangent. We're not even going to do the tangent. So there's one less, okay? You're welcome. All right. So now today when you're playing the game, I made rules, right? Like we're going to use these specific right here. So you're not even going to have to think that much. They're right here on the paper. They're specific. So the first one is for the sine of 2x. And so what that tells me is that the sine of 2x equals 2 times the sine of x cosine of x. All right? And so we're going to use these formulas kind of to do that. So if I look at this, 2 sine of 4 cosine of 4. So that is this formula. There's no other formula with sine and cosine together. Like you don't even have to think about it, right? See sine and cosine together, then you have to use sine of 2x. So if I look at this, the sine of 2x cosine of x, what's my x over here? 4. So this is going to equal this, right? It's the sine of 2x. So 2 times 4 is, so this equals the sine of 8. Okay, so I'm not going to be sarcastic, but how did I get the 4? What's right here? One's a 6. They're not going to be different. They're not going to be. Shh. Okay, look at the next one. I have cosine squared minus sine squared. Find your formula. Here it is, right here. It's the only one with cosine squared and sine squared. So what does my x equal? X is pi over 12. So cosine squared of x minus sine squared of x is cosine of 2x. If your x is pi over 12, then the cosine of 2 times pi over 12 is the cosine of pi over 6. Now, what is the cosine of pi over 6? Pi over 6. So it's the square root of 3 over 2? I say so. All right. So number 3. I'm not done yet. We're just getting started. 1 minus 2 sine squared of 1.5. So I'm going to use this formula. What's your x? 1.5. So the cosine of 2x would be the cosine of 3. Do not make this harder than it is. No, we are having fun. All right. Okay. So now I want to simplify the expression, which means we're going to get it down to one term. So look at this. So for the cosine of 2x, I have 3 options, right? I have 3 choices. I have any of those 3 choices. So you can do it through trial and error, but if you look, what's on the bottom? Cosine of 2x. So is there one of these that has a cosine squared? Well, there's 2 of them. There's the top one and the bottom and the second one. But the top one has what in it? Sine. We probably don't want a sine. So let's use the second one. And I'm going to substitute this in for the cosine of 2x. All I'm going to do is take this and put it for this. Okay, that's all I did.
And they're going to cancel out, right?
So what cancels out? The ones cancel out, so I can cancel these out. Now I have 2 cosine squared of x over cosine squared of x. So the cosine squares cancel out, and it leaves me with 2. All right. So this time, I have the sine of 2x. I only have one option to use for the sine of 2x. 2 sine of x cosine of x. So I have sine of x cosine of x over 2 sine of x cosine of x. What cancels? Sines, cosine, and I have a half. Yeah, it is. It is. All right. So going to number 6. Look, we can cross off the tangent. There you go. Cross that off. 1/2. No, I'm not going back. Cross them out. All right. So on number 6, the sine of 2 theta. All right. So first of all, if the sine of theta is 4/5 and is in the second quadrant. All right. So the sine of theta is in the second quadrant. So this is what this looks like. And by the way, I'm going to do this for you. If it's in the first quadrant, it looks like this. If it's in the second quadrant, third, and fourth. All right, because you're going to have to draw your little triangles. So that's what they all look like. So is my value? So this is 4. What's the 5? It's the radius. So if that's 5, what's the x value there? You have to use the Pythagorean theorem, right? To find the x. So I'm going to get x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. Does anybody recognize the pattern? It's 3, right? Because this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So my x is 3. Okay, go ahead and work it out if you need to. All right, so, right, because you take the square root at the end. All right, so what I want is I want the sine of 2 theta. So I want the sine of 2 theta. I have 2 sine of x cosine of x. So I have a 2 right here. I'm given the sine of x. That was 4/5. I just figured out the cosine of x because that's 3/5. So if I... Okay, let's not take a moment. This is like Geometry 101, and I'm not taking a moment. Just, yeah, well, if you failed geometry, you're sad. This is the Pythagorean theorem. My x value is 3. For the sine, yes. Yes. Okay, so multiply. So the sine of 2x is 24 over 25. That's it. And solve it. All right. So the next thing I want to do is the cosine of 2 theta. And you can choose which of these you want to use, because it doesn't matter. We can use cosine squared minus sine squared. You can use any of them. So since I know both the cosine and the sine, so cosine squared, which one do you want to use, Jada? All right, so 1 minus 2 sine squared of x, right? Or theta, or whatever.
So theta is x?
Yes, it's the same thing. So I get 1 minus 2 times 4 over 5 squared. So this is 1 minus 2 times 16 over 25. You picked it. So, oh, hey, I'm the only bully. I'm only bully. So, I need common denominators, right? So I want 25 over 25. And somebody subtract for me. What is it? Negative 7 over 25. And it wouldn't have mattered which of them you chose. You would get the same answer every time. Yeah, you really do. I'm positive. For all of these would have given you the same answer. You could have chose any of the three. Okay? Okay. So, do y'all want to try the A? I think you should try it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do 8. I'm confused why you said
Okay, first of all, it's negative 1/4, and it tells me it's in the third quadrant. So I know this is what it looks like. And just for the record, this is the radius. Always, like it's from the origin to the circle, that's the radius. That's your bottom number. So the bottom number is 4, so this is 4. And the cosine is which value, x or y? So this is negative 1. So negative 1 squared plus y squared equals 4 squared. So y is the square root of 15. Okay, so that's what I was going to say. So I see a lot of you wrote this and just put your pencil down because you're like, no. No? Yeah, no. What's wrong with that?
That's the answer.
All right, so that's your y value. All right, so it's asking in A. I want the sine of 2 theta. So the sine of theta is 2 times the sine of theta cosine of theta, right? So, well, it's written on your paper, so I understand why that's difficult. So the sine is going to be the square root of 15 over 4. The cosine, they're given, negative 1/4. I'm not speaking slower on this. I'm serious. This is not, I'm not. So if I put a 1 under here, negative 2, and reduce,
So you're pretty good at math. I get it.
we're not doing C. Yes, now you guys do B. And you can pick whichever formula you want. You're going to get the same answer. But can we agree on the same? Do this one time? I'm only doing one. So you pick one. I don't care which one. Let's do cosine squared minus sine squared.
What'd you say, miss? Okay, you're writing it down.
So everybody do this one. I saw it. Come on. We already know the sine and cosine. I am not going too fast. You're not doing this. Go. You can do this. Jada? We already know the sine and the cosine. Plug them in, square them, and subtract them. What? Yeah.
Square gets rid of the square. I got a question. I had a question to solve it. No, miss, wait, yeah. I got it. Okay. For the future, sine is always going to be this one. Cosine is going to be.
Sine is, okay, yeah. All right. So, is everybody, you're all okay? Yes, you are. Okay, I am going to do one more and I'm going to be done. I'm going to prove the identity. Okay. Shh. Okay. So we're going to prove the identity. I'm on the very last one down here. So first of all, sine of 2x is 2 sine of x cosine of x. Like it's written on your paper. Okay, so the next one, I have 1 minus cosine of 2x. And this is harder because you have to pick one of the three, right? And so literally, I just went through and was picking. But the one that worked is this one, the second one. What do you mean put the 1 in the front? The 1 in the front is from the problem. You must put the 1 in front. And this cosine of 2x, this is the formula. Okay? I just plugged that in. So, when I do that, then here's what happens. I have to distribute the negative, right? You have to distribute the negative, so both signs change. So then what happens with the plus and the 1 and 1, I mean the 1 and 1? They don't cancel because now they're plus. So this is 2 minus 2 cosine squared of x. I know that's right. Okay. Okay, so can we just wait for a sec? Can I do this? Can I, on top I have, well, stop being whiny. Okay, so I just factored the 2 out of here. And when I do that, first of all, the 2's cancel. So we're all happy about that. And the next thing, 1 minus cosine squared. What does that equal to? Sine squared. So now I have sine of x cosine of x over sine squared of x. Because I factored out a 2. Okay, so now what happens? The sine cancels. I have cosine over sine, which is cotangent, and I win the game.